Hi there, I'm Jesse DePietro, and I'd like to tell you about film history.
Hi, I'm Miles Raden, and I'd like to help.
Each improvement in film history was very important.
That's right, Jesse. Let's start from the beginning.
Before the 1920s, the film industry mainly comprised of silent, black and white short films. Penny arcades were popular for having hundreds of different 1 to 2 minute shorts at a penny each. In 1922, the first Technicolor film, The Toll of the Sea, came out, which used 2 layers of film to create color. Also during this time was the explosion of Hollywood as the center of the industry. Hollywood and its surrounding area had an ideal climate for directors, and the land was incredibly cheap. During the 1920s, actors and actresses became famous, but before then, acting in movies had been a frowned-upon job. The Academy Awards started in 1927 to promote the film industry. Furthermore, the first feature-length sound film, Love Parade, came out in 1929.
In the 1930s, the film industry expanded and reached out. The first feature horror film, Dracula, came out in 1931. This received great reviews. The first animated feature film was Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937. This also received tremendous results. Also, with the increase of popularity in Technicolor technology, many more films were produced in color.
The beginning of the decade wasn't promising with the tensions of the war approaching, but ended up being one of the most profitable times of the industry. During this time, mainly war propaganda films were produced because they were very popular. The advances in the technology made people want to see movies more because they were easier to watch with good sound, 3 colors, and clearer images.
In the 1950s, a new post-war society was built around spending and comfortable living. This meant many people went to the theater. Drive-ins became very popular and were a major social outing in this decade. However, due to the mass production of televisions and their increasing popularity, the movies' attendance slowed down a bit. The film industry was forced to evolve and began pouring money into budgets to create better, longer movies. Also, in the 1950s, the industry began to sell movie copyrights to broadcasting stations such as NBC and started making the first made-for-TV movies. First movie shown on TV was The Wizard of Oz.
Overall, the 1960s was not a good year for the film industry. The explosion of television, now at least 50% of Americans own at least one TV, caused a lack of attendance in theaters, so the industry was forced to again adapt. Studios began promoting in-flight movies, the first being By Love Possessed, and offering only shown in theater movies to promote attendance. Ultimately, the main reason the industry broke out of its hold still was by huge budget hit films such as The Longest Day in 1963 and The Sound of Music in 1965.
Like all other decades, the society of the time period was reflected by the change in film. The 70s were known for a losing of morals, free love, and the growth of rock and roll. For the film industry, not only did this widen the genres of film, but it added a new type of film, the blockbuster. Blockbusters were youth-oriented, large-budget, and special effect-driven movies designed to create big box office numbers. Jaws and Star Wars 4 are perfect examples of these blockbusters.
In the 80s, high-concept themes were very popular, just like in the 70s. These thought-provoking films were similar to past those, so just as time moves on, film does as well. Action-packed, loud, flashy, and simplistic, and high-structured films sold well off MTV. While films previous to this era were made mostly for adults, kids and teenagers were taking over the industry now. Teen sex movies became very popular, such as Porky's, which became a trilogy. With an increase in popularity in theaters, cost of production went up. However, to draw even more of a crowd, ticket prices went down to promote attendance. Movies in this decade were of 2 types, either great writing and great production value, or poor writing with explicit themes.
Now in the 90s, you see even bigger spending on the production of movies. In America, film has become the most desirable way of life. Movie stars had never been before given the respect and admiration we give them now. Even the term movie star originated here. Special effects came in strongly into this decade, and also more serious movies were made than the comedies in the 80s. With special effects, movies could stretch beyond reality. This added more fans to the industry and catapulted it into its greatest feats yet. Also, once the movie is out of theaters, you'll now be able to purchase it as a DVD. This is a disc that will play at the convenience of your own home.
Macaroni. In the 2000s, movies started to become epic. With all the new digital media, movies felt overwhelmed.
Advanced special effects took precedence over most movies. This new technique was either hit or miss. Producers would hit box office history or miss success and fail. However, the variety of movie was vast in this decade. There were many thought-provoking cult favorites, as well as senseless humors with high-flying special effect-driven movies mixed in there. With so many genres out there, there was a great invite for some new competition. Unfortunately, this spread out the wealth in the market, and profits dipped.
Wow, film history is fun.
Yeah, it's truly amazing how film history reflects society over the years.
So true. Thanks for watching, class. Back to you, Mr. Borelli.